wasn't as tight as that box. That was real exciting. It was pretty dynamic, very fast. When you're about 200,000 feet above the Earth, the clouds actually look like they're going by incredibly fast. And I felt really, really heavy coming back from space. It's like somebody could drop a bag of potatoes on my head. It was hard to stand up. Really tough.
How many times did you do that?
Went in space once, hoping to fly on space station, but wasn't able to do that for some medical reasons. But I had a great time. Spent 2 weeks in space and did a just remarkable experience.
But more than 4,000 hours, is that right?
We did about 4,000 hours of flying airplanes. I spent about 330 hours in space. Not that I'm counting.
Come and sit down for a minute, John. We want to talk to you about creativity.
Another cardboard box. This is great.
We only do cardboard boxes. By the way, I ought to explain something here. For those of you following the program, you were expecting to see Bart Connor, who is an Olympic gymnast. I am not Bart Connor. So don't raise your hopes about any backflips. It's just not going to happen. Bart is not well, but sends his love and apologies, and I'm just thrilled. Not that he's not well. No, I have mixed feelings about Bart. No, not really. I love Bart to pieces, but it gives me a chance to talk to John Harrington, which I'm thrilled about. John, tell us about this. I mean, as a child, did you really look at the heavens and wonder one day if you'd ever get there?
Actually, the story behind the box is very true. It wasn't quite as fancy as that box. But I took a refrigerator box, and it was in the basement of a friend's house, a guy named Lynn Miller, my brother and I. Back in the 1960s, we were going to the moon, and it was on TV, and it was what kids dreamed about doing. So we had this cardboard box, and actually I drew circles on it, and I drew little dials, and I pretended to be an astronaut. But I never really thought it was something I could actually accomplish.
Why did you think that? Because lots of people look at the stars and don't dream of going there. What do you think it was for you?
I think it was right in the forefront of what we were doing. We saw it on TV all the time, and it was they'd bring TVs into the classroom to watch the launches. And these were our heroes. And these people I watched doing something absolutely remarkable were my heroes.
Tell us a bit about the setting here, your childhood. You were raised where?
Actually, I was born in Oklahoma, right down the street here in Wetumpka, Oklahoma. Wetumpka is a Creek word for flying water. I joined the Navy and I fly airplanes, so it's pretty appropriate. But I grew up in Colorado, Wyoming, and Texas, so I did a lot of movement.
But was there any background in your family for this type of life?
My dad was a pilot. My dad actually had my first flying lesson when I was probably about 10 years old.
Yeah.
We had a small plane, but I took for granted the fact that I got to fly airplanes.
And he encouraged you?
And my dad encouraged me, yeah. But I didn't earn my pilot's license until I actually joined the Navy. But I had this experience with aviation and this love of flying from early on.
And what was it like that first launch into space?
I was laying on my back about 30 seconds prior to liftoff, and I thought, I'm actually going somewhere. I'm actually going to space. But you're so focused on your job. I sat on the flight deck with the commander on the left, and the pilot was on the right, and I sat in the middle. But the minute the engine's light, the vehicle shakes pretty violently. But you have a job to do, so you can't go, oh wow, this is incredible. So you gotta do your job. About 8.5 minutes later, your stuff's floating. So magic is real. My book would actually float in front of me.
And what was that flight? Where did you get to, so to speak?
STS-113, the Space Transportation System, because it really is. You go up and you come back on it. To the space station, myself and another gentleman actually installed a large truss. It's a large piece of a metal frame on the outside that holds these large arrays or panels that actually cool the space station. And these are actually built in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And where is that, so to speak?
The space station is about 220 miles above the Earth. It orbits the Earth every 90 minutes. It's been in space for just a little over 10 years. We've had a permanent presence in space for over 10 years, and you hear so little about it, which is unfortunate. It's a remarkable achievement.
It is remarkable. I mean, I was remembering this. I was born in 19